Matt, early on this year, Compass introduced that coming soon feature. That has really had an impact on the market.
It has. It's been great. It's a real way for us to drive traffic into the website. It also allows us to get properties out into the public's eyes before they're actually available to be seen. Sometimes brokers will put them on and use them to show the property a little bit before it's actually on MLS and available to the market as a whole. But it really is a place where we can introduce a property, we can begin to get web exposure for it, we can begin to get eyeballs on it, we can begin to get the conversation and some excitement going about the listing before it's actually launched. And a great example was this week. We put a house on to coming soon on Monday. It wasn't coming into multiple listing service until Wednesday. We weren't going to start showing it until Thursday. But by putting it into coming soon, we actually had appointments already teed up to start showing that property today, versus if it had come on yesterday and people wouldn't have sort of realized it was there until this morning.
Sure. Now, in regards to what the buyer, potential buyer that goes to the site sees, and that's compass.com.
It is, yeah.
What information is missing that's different from MLS?
It really depends. So sometimes there's a listing where basically everything's there, and other times the listing gets loaded up with limited information. Like on that property in particular, we weren't going to have all our photography back until Wednesday, so we had some exterior shots done that we had taken last week that we were able to use, but we didn't have interiors. We had floor plans available, we had a basic write-up, but even that was a little bit more limited than what was fully loaded when we went live into MLS yesterday.
Sure, so it's kind of dangling the carrot.
Yeah, dangling the carrot, really beginning to build a little bit of momentum around a property, making sure that people are being able to see things that are coming on. And I've had a couple of opportunities where a seller has had a house that, like, maybe a really good example was they were building a house in Weston. They had a really beautiful high twos house in Newton that they were willing to sell, but they weren't going to be ready to move until November or December. So they didn't want to put a house on that they couldn't really sell for 6 or 7 months into MLS early, but they were willing to put it up on coming soon, sort of if somebody was around who was willing to give them what they wanted and needed so that they could finish the project they were working on and close. When they were ready to close, they were willing to do it early, and they were able to do that without sort of wasting 200 days of MLS market time and fielding calls for people who might not really get that the house was available, but it's only available 6 or 7 months down the line.
It's really interesting concept, and others are starting to catch on. It's kind of really changed the way the real estate process starts.
It does, and we've been kind of developing that for years now, and this is the first time we've actually taken it and created sort of a place for it. I mean, we've done it with pre-construction, and how do you market pre-construction, and how do you do it without sort of like building up this long, number of days on the market before something's really ready. So this is sort of one more tool that, we as Compass agents get to use in our toolbox of like how to service our clients as best as possible.
And Compass continues to stay ahead of the game. You can learn more with the coming soon feature at compass.com.
Correct.
You're in the Newton Brookline market.
I am, yeah. I have been for almost 20 years.
And interesting market right now. We're talking about a little bit off air. What are you seeing right now?
So a lot of different things are going on. I mean, it really feels like, after the market took off in 2013 and just sort of rose up gradually for, a number of years, we really kind of began to plateau about anywhere from a year to 18 months ago, depending on kind of how you look at it. And, as I often talk about when we talk about the real estate market, especially in Newton and Brookline, it's not one market, right? It's a moderate market, a medium high, a high end, a super high end. There's a condo market, there's a multifamily market, investment properties. So it's a multitude of markets, and they all function a little bit differently, even though they're all connected. What we've really seen is that we've kind of hit this inflection point where the market's not going up, but it's not going down. And really what it requires is a level of expertise when you're dealing with properties to really sort of understand like what's going on, what's the best way to either help someone buy or sell a specific house in a specific segment of the market. And honestly, a lot of it right now is all about pricing, right? It's about pricing well. The sellers have gotten a little little carried away a lot of the time with what they think their house is worth. The buyers have gotten a little bit concerned that the market's no longer trending up and what they pay for it today may not be what it's worth tomorrow. And so there begins to be conflict between the two sides of the deal. And, the bad news is it makes things harder, and the good news is that's why we're there, right? So it's to really help the buyer and the seller come to terms, put a deal together, and then lock it in and work through it in a way that makes it as smooth as possible for everybody involved.
Now more than ever is a reason why you have to be working with a top professional like yourself.
Yeah, and one of the challenges of a long run of a good market is that we have a lot of people coming into my business who have no clue what they're doing. I had a deal this year with somebody who said, oh, one of my friends just got her broker's license and I really feel bad because, we're really close and I want to use her. And I said, well, would you go to a barber who's never given somebody a haircut before? Are you going to give her your money to invest? Are you going to let her be your kid's pediatrician? It's really the expertise and the 20 years of experience that you build doing this day in and day out is really helpful. And especially when you get into complicated situations. And I said to her, to them, she's probably not even going to be there in 3 months. And sure enough, she's already out of the business because she realized it's hard and chose to go do something else. But it's when you introduce sort of people into the business where we have to work collaboratively, it makes it really, really challenging. So it's figuring out how to kind of help the buyer and the seller sort of negotiate through depending on which side you're on and look out for your client's interests and do it in the best way possible.
And a lot of times people think that they're getting deals if they're cutting out the agent. I mean, that is just not.
Yeah,
not
and
the case.
look, I mean, there are times where you can do a deal and the agent didn't really do that much. And then there's other times where we work incredibly hard and don't get paid anything. And, it's really important to have, just like the lender is really important, sort of the agent and the attorney, the inspector, having a team that really can get you across the finish line is crucial. I mean, our time is just so valuable these days. We want to make sure that we're investing the money that we're investing into real estate, or when we're exiting out of it, that we're making the most out of that exit that we can. And, nothing hurts you more than sort of bringing somebody into the equation who, is taking value away rather than adding it.
Without fail, every single time, it has a negative impact on the deal in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
And the sad thing is a lot of times it's a close friend that they brought in or a family member, and it just makes it worse.
Right.
Where do you see the market going through the rest of the year?
I think that, we've had a really good run through the spring. We had a great year in the high end. We were able to move a lot of high end houses that had been on with other people priced for too much money. We came in, we adjusted price, we remarketed them. We moved a lot of really good inventory, and we've got some more of it closing coming up. I think we'll sort of see how quickly the market tapers down. In a great year, we'll run long through the 4th of July. This year, we'll see whether do we lose sort of some of our spring and summer momentum kind of in June, or does it carry through? I expect the fall will be challenging, as it often is. I don't expect to have the stellar fall, but that doesn't mean we won't get deals done. And there's always opportunities during that period, especially for buyers who are looking for something that's maybe not quite as competitive. And then, we'll sort of see. I mean, I think the fact that the rates are back down and that the buyers are a little bit more comfortable sort of with where the rates are has taken a little bit of the pressure off to sort of move quickly. But it's also, I think given the history of rates and sort of what we're seeing in the world today, I think we all know that there's only one direction they can really go.
Right.
And so we'll sort of see kind of how we play out over the second and the third and fourth quarters, and I'm optimistic, that it'll be another good year in our business.
I'm with you, my friend. Great information
Pleasure.
as always. And if you'd like to connect with Matt and his team over at Compass in the Newton Brookline area, you can check out mjmrealestate.com. Check down below for more market updates just like this on boston.com. Share it with your friends.